In other news now, Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris, will visit Africa during a week-long trip, the most high-profile outreach by the Biden administration to try to counter China's growing influence on the continent. Let's take a look at this report.
Vice President Kamala Harris is currently on an attempt to not just deepen but reframe U.S. relationships in Africa. She plans on doing this during a week-long trip that began on Saturday. This is by far the most high-profile outreach by the Biden administration to try to counter China's growing influence on that continent. Harris, who's traveling with her husband, is expected to visit Ghana, Tanzania and Zambia. The VP says the primary focus is set to be on economic development, climate change, food security and a rising youth population. However, her itinerary includes several less traditional stops intended to highlight the dynamic future of a continent where the median age is just 19.
So this has been a big year for U.S. outreach to Africa. It began in December with the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit in Washington, D.C. That's when Vice President Harris met with a number of African leaders that she's going to meet again on this trip when she's in Ghana, Tanzania, and Zambia. In addition, there's going to be a lot of other highlights. She's going to give a major speech in the capital of Ghana and also engage with a lot of young people in the country. She's focused a lot on the rising youth generation in Africa. The median age in the continent is only 19 years old, and roughly half of the world's population growth is going to happen in Africa over the next several decades, which is just an enormous potential.
Harris plans to visit a recording studio and meet with women entrepreneurs in Accra and then stop by a tech incubator in Dar es Salaam. In Lusaka, Zambia's capital, Harris is expected to meet with business and philanthropic leaders to talk about expanding access to digital and financial systems. The hope here is to portray the continent as a place for investment, not just aid packages, a theme that Harris emphasized in December during a U.S.-Africa summit in Washington. The trip includes 3 nights in Ghana, 2 nights in Tanzania and 1 in Zambia before Harris returns to Washington on April 2nd. It is to be noted that Ghana faces a debt crisis and high inflation dragging down an economy that was once among the region's strongest. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, Secretary of State Antony Blinken and First Lady Jill Biden have already crisscrossed Africa on their own trips, while President Joe Biden is expected to go later this year. Bureau Report, Republic TV.